Marijuana is the female flowers of the dried hemp plant. It is also known as cannabis sativa. I believe that marijuana should be legalized for recreational use, and it is already legalized for medical use. Marijuana will be safely regulated and easily available. If we legalize marijuana, it could be taxed and thus increase federal revenues, possibly bringing the U.S. into a better economic situation. It also would make the black market for marijuana disappear overnight because everything will be legal. Overall, the benefits of legalizing marijuana drastically outweigh the drawbacks of not legalizing it.
Marijuana, good morning to you.
Morning, Pedro.
What did the United States decide in this past election about this idea of how marijuana is used either recreationally or medically?
Yeah, it was actually a pretty big election. We had 9 initiatives on the ballot. 5 of them were for all adult use and 4 were related to medical marijuana. And 8 out of 9 ended up passing, including 4 out of 5 of the adult use measures, with the initiatives passing in California, Maine, Massachusetts, and Nevada. The medical marijuana states that passed were Arkansas, first state truly in the South to pass a medical marijuana measure, Florida, North Dakota, and then Montana expanded upon its existing medical marijuana program.
Why do you think there is a change, not only in these states you talked about, but other states that have gone down this road as well?
Sure. Well, this has been evolving for decades, starting with the first medical marijuana initiative that passed in California in 1996. We've just seen support for reforming marijuana laws increase, just about 1 or 2 points a year, to the point now where the most recent Pew and Gallup surveys had support for legalization at 57 and 60%. So there's really been a tremendous increase. And I think it's based on the fact that people understand that marijuana isn't as bad as it was made out to be.
States want to show our viewers a map from the Boston Globe about where those states are that marijuana is already legal and where those ballot measures are happening. So ballot measures happening: California, Nevada, Arizona, Maine, and Massachusetts. Already legal in Colorado, Alaska, Washington, Oregon, and the District of Columbia. For those states where marijuana is already legal, can you talk about where the Department of Justice is and where the state governments are in terms of trying to figure out the regulation process?
Colorado and Washington were the first to legalize in 2012, and Oregon, Alaska, and D.C. followed in 2014. And as the first 2 states legalized, there was sort of this holding of your breath moment because no one knew how the Justice Department was going to react. It's important to remember we have a federal law on the books called the Controlled Substances Act. That says that federally marijuana is illegal in all circumstances, no questions asked. But what the Justice Department has done is sort of duct taped together a policy fix. And they've said as long as a state regulates marijuana, well, first it has to reform their laws, then regulate the product. And as long as the operators don't engage in certain bad acts, like selling to children or engaging with drug cartels or a number of other things, then the federal government will choose not to enforce the law in those jurisdictions. And so it's allowed states to move forward with these policies.
Should allow our viewers.
Marijuana can be used medicinally. In general, medical marijuana treats pain of many diseases and its side effects. It is used to treat nausea, several cancers, epilepsy, glaucoma, inflammatory bowel disease, PTSD, and many more. The therapeutic effects outweigh the risk, which are very little and non-harmful. Medical marijuana is FDA approved for treating these conditions. There are 28 states that have legalized medical marijuana. There is no reason why all the states should have it legalized.
Is set up, and of course the ramifications for the approximately 900,000 people that are arrested every year in this country. Colorado at least, and now several other states, have adopted a different policy. It doesn't criminalize those people. So that's one piece, but the other piece is we have a confluence, is we didn't just legalize marijuana. essentially created an opportunity for commerce. Right? So what Colorado did was legalize marijuana and then also set up a tightly regulated system that allows certain types of businesses to sell, grow, and produce this product. So it's kind of tough to think of any shift in time, any sort of policy change that has been set up in that way. So as such, I really feel it's incumbent upon our state to try to get this right. It's an interesting moment in time. Before I kind of launch into the recreational marijuana and the retail marijuana side of it, it's certainly worth dwelling on medical marijuana for a minute. I mean, a lot of the groundwork that we see and the basis for our system in Colorado is the fact that we've had medical marijuana here since the year 2000. I think that helps sort of influence voters, right? When you are brought up and taught that marijuana is bad, is an evil substance, but then all of a sudden this law passes and people who have cancer or AIDS or pain or what have you are allowed access to this, you start to question, does this policy make sense? Is it really that bad? And after about 12 years or so, and we had regulated storefronts for sick medical marijuana patients, I think that influenced voters, and they said, well, if it can work for this population of qualifying individuals, could it work for adults?